There you go. Hello, everyone. This is the MicroProfile Working Group Branding and Trademarks call, focus call. It's September 20th, and a few of us have topics to discuss, tickets to discuss. Please write your name in the agenda. Ryan, can you please share the agenda in the chat so that everyone can do that? Thank you so much. So Ryan is helping me with sharing the screen. Thanks for that. And let's go into it. We have one of the tickets. Ryan, can you open this ticket? This is with Chris, the webmasters of the Eclipse Foundation. He communicated with us through the ticket sometime on Thursday and Friday. So we have been discussing things about the tool, SurveyMonkey, that we need to set up to be able to send the 5 designs for the compatibility logo voting. So if you go, Ryan, to the end, where Chris is located, like the comments, here, a little bit higher because we started higher than mine. There, Chris. Higher. Sorry about this. Wherever you see him, there you go. This is the first one on Friday, 4 days ago. So please, everyone, if you haven't seen it, this is important. Ryan, did you get a chance to see Team Advantage? At the beginning, we wanted individual, but that doesn't work. So we need to get the professional, which is okay. Seems a little bit cheaper, $27 per user, but we want to make sure we have the capabilities we discussed in the other tickets. And this is ranking voting. So were you able to check the features for Team Advantage?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh no, this is the first time I'm seeing this. So,
okay, perfect. Okay. So Ryan, after this call, let's take some time on your own to search this week and let us know what you find out, because we need the same capabilities for under this membership.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah, take a look. Chris is telling us these are the prices, but he doesn't say the features. That is our job, to do the research. And clearly I have linked in one of my replies, the tickets where we worked on what we needed. So let's make sure that it matches. We definitely want to save money and we want to have the capabilities. So let's see that if the 27 works as recommended. Then we go down. Ryan is going to check. So in the minutes we will write that no, don't go all the way. We still need to consume Chris' message. So first he provides the recommendation, and we will check if that works. And then he talks about the seats that are needed. At the beginning, I don't think Chris understood why we wanted 2 groups emails. One that will allow the admins to have access. That means admins, currently we have zeroed onto and Edwin as the committer rep chosen by the committers of the project, and Ryan, because Ryan works on the marketing side and on behalf of the marketing, will help us push for surveys, right? So I explained to Chris why we need the emails, because at the beginning he was thinking, okay, we need 3. The Eclipse Foundation will set up the tool and they will get 1 seat. And he thought that it would be Ryan and Edwin. That would be the 3 seats. But that doesn't work, because if we get only 3 seats, then that would mean that either Ryan or Edwin will have to pull transparency with stats and all the things that we will do in the future to provide accountability and transparency for all the surveys. What we thought, and we spoke back in August, is having 1 email that allows a few admins to be added as we see the volunteers coming to say, hey, I want to be a part of this and own that work. And then we want an email that is public that will allow for any member of the community and MicroProfile to join the SurveyMonkey previous service and see what went down. That means this individual cannot change the features of the tool. It just goes in there and see it. clearly we can also have those results outside in the future. That takes work, but having the access and the transparency to say, I can log in and see this without no one telling me is what we need. It's scalable, it's friendly, and safe. So then if we go down, Chris follow up to our exchanges, right? I explained to him what I have explained in this call, and then he understands the level of transparency. One of the things that he asked is, he was talking about, can you go a little bit higher, Ryan? Sorry about this. He was talking about IP, if we needed the IP here. With this said, I have a question for the group. Are we planning to store personally identifiable information? This is the PII on SurveyMonkey. I wonder if many of you know what that means. Do you have questions about what he's asking? This is Chris' question.
Well, I guess a question that I would have is, how do you uniquely identify a survey participant?
And then
if you don't have to, if you don't store something that's unique to a user.
Correct. So we need that, correct? Because we want a voter, a MicroProfile or a member to vote only once. The only way to guarantee that someone votes only once is by getting that information. Otherwise, SurveyMonkey is not valid or usable to us. So then I follow up to him, and then I said, what will entail if we did store PII? You can see the following here, right? And he clearly answered. And then I also said, I also explained to him about why we need the two email groups, right? One is private and one is, both of them are private. It's just like for you, for usability. So then please follow up. Ryan, let's go a little bit down to his reply, and he will explain, John. Here, there is no issue with us having the IPI, but we will need to do a data protection impact assessment, right? This one will, it's not that we'll call, this one should describe what we're doing with the PII, right? What purposes? So we need to create a document that says that first, we want the survey to collect data from just one member in each single time, so the member cannot vote 2, 3 times or 10 times, right? That is the main reason. MicroProfile is a working group that doesn't sell stuff. We innovate and we push the technology, and we hope that creates adoption. But we don't sell anything, so we will never use this data to sell. So I see 2 things: do and don'ts. We want X and we don't want X. If anyone else, clearly we will have to draft something like he says here. And look, right? These people.
What's more than sell, it's also about marketing, right? So, I mean, we won't sell nor market.
Correct.
Based on the information in SurveyMonkey.
Yeah, if we're not using any of their contact information or their data to market them or sell something, then I don't see there's not going to be any issue to anything.
Exactly. So there will be no issue. The paper is going to be a few sentences, and we still need to create it because it's part of, GDPR, and it's also GDPR, but it's also about security, right? The world is scared about security, and this is super easy for us because we're not going to send them emails. We are not going to do anything like it. So that is going to be super easy. And Ryan, if you would like, because you're going to do the research with SurveyMonkey, if you like to start just that paper, that one page saying do's and don'ts, just very simple and crude, I would really appreciate it. Can you do this?
I'll look online. I'm sure there's a template that follows some legal standards. So
yeah, it doesn't have to be legal, but something that will be super nice for us to review and move forward, so we can link it here to this ticket and see if this is something like Chris was is expecting. So then Chris goes on, and in this ticket you can see what he includes the policy. That really quickly, and it's very standard. There is nothing odd or weird in it. And for the users of SurveyMonkey, I see no negatives on doing it because we need it. And then he goes into asking about the emails. So then we go down my reply, he's now asking about the emails. So then I explained to him why we need the emails. And that's giving you Ryan access and Edwin access. I am explaining to here why we need the two emails that are, one of them is private and no one can subscribe, right? We add or de-add people. And if you go down, right, to what he said, he says, I do see the value of using SurveyMonkey for privacy and users. And clearly what we request can be done, but we will need to document why we need the two emails. That means we will be paying 3 seats and it will be like we planned back in August. It will be only admins that are triggered or have the responsibility to do the work. They will be listed under the MicroProfile admins inventory that is public for all to see who is doing what and why and how they have access. And like that we move forward. And then we also have the public email that is not about a subscribe. It's just something that anyone can use in the world. And it has a safe key that will allow you to go into MicroProfile and check past results, not current, past results. So the last sentence here says that it's possible, but we need to also document, right? I wonder we will have to document 2 different things, and that should be easy for us. Questions about this? And if, am I missing
Why
any?
do you want them to have to sign in to see it? I mean, they're going to get the results when it's done anyways, because we probably announce the results.
Yes, but then, Ryan, good question, but we're talking about stats. How many votes, what percentage?
Well, couldn't we, when we send out an email about the results, can't we just screenshot that and put that in an email?
Yeah, and what happens after 6 months or whatever? People, we
But
forget.
it doesn't change, like voting doesn't change after 6 months.
It doesn't change.
No, you're gonna you normally
Then-
close a voting time.
Yeah, everything closes and it's fine, but it's kind of nice to, even for ourselves. Do you think you are going to remember what happened on the current thing that we're going to vote? How many people
You could
voted?
easily screenshot it and put it into a Google Drive and have it, survey.
Yeah, we can do that. We can also do that, but that will take some care. And for this, for instance, it is expected that Edwin will do many of this to get community feedback on different ballots and in different things for direction, right? Should he win the election for 2022 and continue to be the committee rep, right? It is his job to make sure that he's speaking community. For that, it means that he needs to be a constant on sending service when he sees fit, right? And that means that he will need to have this document that says you need to do X and Y and Z, and we can do that. This is just a matter of doing it and having this new discipline and habit on how you see the tool.
I mean, how much money does it add on to have a third person just instead of having 2 admins? And when the results
$27.
You got it and throw it in a folder.
Yeah, the extra email will be $27 a month if we have the ranking. If we don't have the ranking, we have to hike it to 79. So you will help us discover it if it has the ranking. So we stayed at 27. But if it doesn't, 27 times 12, I think the cost is worth it. But clearly you are correct. We can do that part ourselves, but that means that we in the marketing side and Edwin need to be extremely strict, not next week or 2 weeks from now, after the survey is completed. All of it needs to be in the drive and in the website, which clearly we can do it with time.
Because I'm just wondering, whoever wants to log in will have to find out where the email is and how they get a password to it also. How's that going to work out?
We are going to add it into the website.
But then anyone can just get into the website?
Yes.
But don't you want it limited to committers, or?
Anyone can check how MicroProfile is doing the service and what is happening with the service, full transparency, without being fed that
No one
information.
can edit anything in SurveyMonkey this way.
Yeah, these people that do this, the viewers, won't have access to change anything. It costs us only $325 to do this kind of thing that is full transparency and to enable anyone.
That seems
Yeah.
I'm curious. I would do it for a year, and if you can be able to see how many people actually log into this email,
Yeah.
and if it's like 10 times or 10 people, I would get rid of it and do it just screenshots and save
That's
money.
one, Ryan, always.
I don't
Anyone-
know.
Or we could do opposite. We could say, okay, we just have a minimum like is that 2 admins. If someone like just say, are there any? Or we could ask, are there anybody else like interested log on into this website, or they are fine to look at the results. If nobody like I said, yeah, I really want to have this capability, we could go just with two admin.
Take a survey to find out what type of survey we need.
Yeah.
No, I just saying sending the email to the no survey, sending email to the Google group to see anybody want to like ask a feedback. If nobody care about this, why we spend £300 for no apparent reason? I
Well,
think
we do-
I think that's kind of, if we can save money, we should. For like
Yes.
speaking for myself, I would say, yeah, I'm trust the admin. I'm pretty happy with the result. I wouldn't probably, I don't have an interest in like to log on to dig out the data. If someone there's someone expressed interest, yeah, so be it, and then we can spend this 300.
So Emily, good points, but we know that there are members in our community from the working group that desire access, public access. They want this information to be accessible to them, to their communities. We have John from iJag, and he was the one that brought extra communication on this matter. It is important for him and his community that they can log in and see the results. iJag represents 43 JAGs in Europe, Austria, in Switzerland.
Sorry, Amelia. I think it's fine. Basically, we just post a question there. If they say yes, we are interested, and then we do it. I don't think we should assume they are going to use it. I think maybe it's bring this up in the tomorrow's call, or no, not tomorrow's call.
We don't have it
Next
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a next week call, and then send an email to the mailing list.
Yes. What are others thinking about this? John, do you have any feedback? Do we send the email, or do we spend? I think for this year we could have spent, because SurveyMonkey renews once a year, right? We will pay once a year because it's easier. And then if next year we get less than 10 viewers, right? Then that means that, you see, we need to ask not only the steering committee via the working group, but the entire community. I trust that the members of the steering committee will want to see the results and see the design that we have for the SurveyMonkey and all this other stuff. So my suggestion is to go and spend the $320 for the extra seats, and next year adjust, because this just goes for 1 year. And it's not thousands.
Amelia, didn't you ask John? John, what?
Yes, go ahead, John. Sorry.
I mean, I'm okay either way, to be honest. I don't, you know, if we do this for 1 year and see what the results are, that's okay. If we do screen snapshots, that's okay too. I'm not going to argue over $300 whatever dollars.
Yeah, I don't see it as a lot of money. If it was 1,000, I would be like, no, that's too much. We can do the work.
Up to you guys. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Emily, do you want to provide your feedback directly in the tickets?
On this ticket? Yeah,
Of
sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
I put it in the chat already.
Oh yeah, but the chat doesn't translate.
Okay.
It must be in the tickets.
No,
No,
what
I
a
put the
Ryan,
tickets in the chat.
yeah. What a Ryan saying, give me a link, I can directly post my feedback. Thank you, Ryan.
No problem.
So this is a great discussion, and are there any questions? Clearly you can this feedback. This is amazing. So there's so much that, and he nails the questions. But if you have any other questions, please use the tickets. to unblock whatever else might come up from this discussion.
I mean, the one way I look at this is we've got a marketing budget that we've hardly spent any money on, right? So if we're going to spend money on something this year, $320 for something like this, just to get a perspective, is fine with me.
Of course, John, please add it to the ticket because I'm a +1. I didn't even think it would be an issue. Not only because we have budget, but I'm pushing for transparency in a manner that educates everyone, not to be told what we do, but to show, to go there and find information, right? I think it's much more knowledgeable and kinder to be this way and to trigger and push for this level of transparency. And we can use future feedback with metrics to see if we adjust it, because that is what we do. We fail fast, or we ought to be failing fast. All right, so are we tapped out with this ticket?
Sure.
All right, so Emily, John, please write your comments in the tickets. In here, I will write in the minutes what we have spoken as well. Then Manish is not here, but he already agreed to do the trademark guidelines need adjustments. The MicroProfile working group chose the implementation patent, and that is the missing part from the document. So if we go at the end of the document, of the tickets, we can see Manish saying, yes, I will look into this. And if I have questions, I will be following in the ticket. We need to add the patent, and then it will be done. I have a question for you, Sharon. I know that the Eclipse Foundation already grabbed the documents for legal review, but it's not completed because the document has not been completed. And you are waiting for us to finish this, well, not to finish, but to complete the information now that we voted for the implementation patent. How costly is going to be for us to do this adjustment? Because we want to make sure we minimize not spending the $40,000 that are allocated for this kind of thing. And this is legal, which is part of the $13,500, not including the $40K that is not legal. How does that work for the review?
You want to try that again, Amelia? You kind of lost me. Sorry.
Sorry about this.
Are you asking for what the impact is of this before it's amended and provided to us for review? Is that the question?
Yes, because we have $13,500 for legal review, and clearly this is included. The reviews are included, and I want to make sure that that is correct. And we are counting that all legal review on the trademark, anything, will go into the $13,500. And I want to confirm that that is the case, so that when we are doing this extra addition, we are not going to take money from the $40K. And if you don't know the answer, please just come back and send us via the tickets. There is a ticket here, and you can say, hey, you guys, yes, this extra addition is part of the review. We just want to make sure how we collaborate with you, right?
Yeah, I mean, our review won't start until you say it's done and it's ready for review. So not sure if that's helpful or not, but yeah. One thing I just like to say, maybe, and this will be helpful, is and just kind of FYI, there will be communication coming on this. We are actually very shortly going to enter into the annual cycle of program planning for 2022, and again budgeting for 2022. And so one of the things that we need to do as the Eclipse Foundation is once Q3 closes, which is September for us, that we actually do a financial report for the working group based on where things stand in terms of expenditures. So that will actually help a lot with, I think, some of the questions that you have outstanding. But for sure, we're not starting our review until you guys say the working group has completed, its creation, and you turn it over to us. And that's when our review will begin.
Okay, this is great, Sharon, because in one of the calls, maybe a month and a half ago, because the document has been missing the patent, because we didn't have the patent. But Paul said, hey, I have taken the document for legal review, but we said the document is not completed. So if it's already a legal review without our hey, hand over. Do you see what I mean? I thought we needed to send it via the tickets and the working group and say, Paul, Sharon, this is ready for you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I can't speak for Paul. I wasn't on that meeting. What I can tell you is, and maybe, and again, I don't want to speak from it, maybe what he was alluding to is we are beginning to start, actually, we're further than beginning. We're starting to make sure that we're preparing as much as we can on our side as well to be ready for when the working group says, okay, we're done. Now we're turning it over to the Eclipse Foundation. So
that's great.
Right. So that might have just been a slight, I don't know. So we're preparing, I'm beginning to work a draft of the trademark license agreement. So all of this will, we are starting to work, but obviously until we have the guidelines from you, that's when our earnest review will begin.
Thank you so much for the clarification. I think this is great. Sharon, questions for Sharon. She's here. If she is here, you know how it goes. She knows the topics of the agenda. This is how we do it. Any questions for Sharon on this ticket? Remember that I cannot see you. so I think, Sharon, you were fantastic. So it's clear. So thank you so much for that.
And again, I don't want to contradict Paul. If there is a difference between what Paul had said and what I just said, I will come back on the ticket and clarify that. But I don't believe so.
It's fine. You can say, I do not know that part, but I can ask him and he can confirm, which is what we preferred, right? Because not only do we have the trademark guidelines that are almost completed, but we also have the handbook that is almost completed and only awaiting the voted compatible logo. So pretty much the two documents are completed, missing two items. One of them, we have it, compatible, implementation patent for the guidelines, but then we don't have the logo yet. And once those two things are completed, then what we need is, the plan is to send it to the working group, mailing list, say this is done. Clearly, the steering committee needs to vote on and approve before we do that. So we have a process that we thought we had to do in order for right? There is a process. So then when Paul said, hey, we have started the review, we were, well, it has not been approved by the steering committee. We don't consider it finalized because at that time we didn't have the implementation patent. So with what you said, now it's clear. And I'm very happy about it. Just bias here.
And again, I will make sure that Paul and I are on side. And if there is a change, one of us will update the ticket. I did just want to take a second, though, and let you know that the Eclipse Foundation has proceeded to register the MicroProfile logo itself, obviously not the compatibility logo, but the logo itself. It is registered. We've started the process for Canada, and we are going to go ahead and continue filings for EU, UK, and US as well. And so what this enables is a better transition to start the filing process when the compatibility logo is finalized. So what we do is we get the logo itself for MicroProfile Working Group registered, start the proceedings, and then when the design logo with the compatibility piece is ready, that's an easier process than to go in and almost piggyback on the registrations of the logo itself.
This is wonderful. Sharon, may I ask you to please send us via the working group forum. You can say whatever you want in the title and say, we already knew because you told us this in the community.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I'm on it.
Yeah, if you can send it and say, hey, you don't need to use tickets because that is whatever the Eclipse Foundation uses. EMO, REPO, whatever it is that you are using for working groups, we don't have a say, but we will definitely appreciate all the feedback to go and land by your words to the working group forum, because that is the formal communication for the working group.
Totally understood. So this is actually an update from earlier this morning. So
it's amazing.
So you're getting it firsthand, and I will definitely follow up with an email to the working group itself. Yes, great idea. Thank you.
We love it. Ryan, with Ryan's help, he already went in and updated the R for registered in a website and also in the swag that we have not printed. So we were so excited. We went and updated that months ago, even before it was done.
Don't get too far ahead.
We did. We're like so excited.
Good stuff. Yeah, and so just on that front, you know, we are hopefully within the next 2 weeks before the end of this month, we have a little bit of catching up to do on some of our trademark, our artwork page and explore page and so on and so forth. So that work is underway as well to make sure that we have not missed anything. Because in terms of registrations, you know, in order to protect and defend them, we have to ensure that we're using the correct symbol. So that's something that I've got going on inside with the Eclipse Foundation as well, for all working groups, not just MicroProfile, to make sure that we've got everything just the way it should be in terms of moving forward with the correct symbols based on registrations.
Okay, let us know if you have any questions.
Will do.
If you have any questions for us, you can definitely create a ticket under either our marketing repo or marketing working group repo, whatever is easier for you. You just send it and say, hey, this is happening, but you definitely need to send it via the working group because not everyone is subscribed. We are subscribed. I am subscribed.
Understood. Yep.
Yeah, no and let us unblock you while you go through this process. Super exciting. We got the news. Super exciting. Bravo. So we go to the next one, next topic. Ryan, you were doing, can you link on the trademark and compatibility program components spreadsheet? It's on the upper area, immediately after this one. Yes, thank you. For some reason, it's very small in my mind. I'm not sure if everyone has problems. Yes, thank you.
Hey,
By the way,
Amelia. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead,
Emily.
sorry. By the way, can we minute what we discussed in the minute as well? I think
Correct.
it's a good.
Emily,
Good
those
thing
that
to
are
link.
talking cannot minutes. Those that are here can help, correct? Are you volunteering to help?
I didn't quite get a summary, to be honest. Sorry.
All right, so
Maybe Ryan can minute it.
no, usually this is a great thing. What I usually do is immediately after the call, I go in there and fill out as much as possible of what was discussed, because this is a different call than the regular marketing. And then once I send the copy paste to the working group and marketing forum with all the details of the discussion. I won't do such a good job as Ed. Ed from Oracle writes the best minutes. Really, lots of detail. He's not here, so I'm going to do my best, as I usually do, but it's not going to be as detailed. But yes, all of it is going to go in the minutes. And also I recommend, like Emily, you and John, you have comments on the ticket for SurveyMonkey. Please use the tickets, because the tickets are where we live, right?
Okay, let me just ask one more question before we move on to a new thing. So for the members, is the kind of the requirement for using the MicroProfile logos. So what's that? Is the corporate must be the member or not, or is it still to be discussed?
It is still to be discussed because a few of us disagree. Ryan, can you check? Can you go back to the minutes and we can click on the forum thread that is in the minutes here? Forum thread, open discussion. The discussion is still open and the steering committee has not created a resolution. A few of us understand what the Eclipse Foundation has stated as the statement. They need the member to be a member of the Eclipse Foundation and also of the working group. Red Hat has provided not only the feedback here and to the forum, but also as soon as the minutes landed in the working group, Scott Stark sent a note and we have it in the minutes and I can read it in a moment, and that is the plan. Many of us disagree with, you must be a member of the Eclipse Foundation, you must be a member of the working group to use the compatible logo. Right? So here we can go on, right? This thread has been going since July 13th, and it went a little bit dead because we were working on implementation pattern with the conversations, and then we brought it back because now we're done with that task. In one of the calls on September 7th, this is the 10th, we asked Paul to share the statement by the Eclipse Foundation on what happens. So he shared it on the 8th, and he says they would prefer it, but I'm not sure if this must be a requirement, right? We understand that the upkeep legal enforcement will be a requirement and a task for the Eclipse Foundation, and we understood this from the start. But what we do not understand is the requirement of being able to use the logo only by being a member of the Eclipse Foundation and the working group. And a few of us disagree. So now we need to follow up in the thread as we have done in the minutes and continue the discussion. So it's not completed, Emily.
Yeah, okay, I added a comment here.
And Ryan, if you go down, what I follow is not about we disagree, and as Atomic Tribe, we also disagree with Red Hat on the statements, right? What I follow is, I didn't say anything about disagreements just yet. I focused on what are the costs, the yearly costs for the enforcement of the trademarks, right? And then what happens, you know, we are talking about the spreadsheet that Ryan shared a moment ago, because Road 27 talks about ongoing support by the Eclipse Foundation. And then line 28 is about administration. We, maybe 3 months ago, were discussing that the 28, that is administration, can be handled by the working group. We want to make sure that the project does as much work as possible. When we talk about, what is it?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to comment on that particular request, Amelia.
Okay.
I was speaking with Paul late last week on that. And in fact, that is something that the Eclipse Foundation owns. That's our position, and that's not something that the working group can take on. We're the legal entity. We are the steward of the trademarks. And so the administration of that program in and of itself is an Eclipse Foundation responsibility. I will say, though, that of course we would appreciate any information, you know, that the working group, if they did find that there was something that was not in compliance, you know, to work with the Eclipse Foundation, as we would expect you to bring it to our attention. But the overall administration of that program is something that has to remain with the Eclipse Foundation itself.
So my question in here is, Ryan, can you click the spreadsheet, please? And thank you so much for doing such a good job sharing. So look at this. We have ongoing support, trademark maintenance and enforcement. What is the difference between maintenance and enforcement? Because if we have 2 lines, that is 2 costs. And when we see the maintenance and enforcement, that is policing.
No, yeah, well, yes and no. So trademarks maintenance and enforcement is, once you register a trademark, we're not simply done. It can take months for a trademark to actually end up being filed. So from the point of where we do with the initial registration in one particular jurisdiction and or one class, there is time. Often it can be up to 6 months and more that we may get an office defense. We may get questions on how to move the registration forward. We may have to defend. And so there are ongoing maintenance costs associated with that. We believe we've put a budget line item in 2021 that suffices for kicking it off. But of course, later on, when that registration is ready to expire, we will need to also re-register it. So, and then we also have the possibility that we would have to enforce the registry, force the protection should somebody be utilizing the mark and it's deemed that it would be within our best interest to do some level of enforcement there. So there's a lot packed into that. And so it really is almost a bit of a work in progress. We can't identify tomorrow what we might end up having to defend or to enforce. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We understand Road 27.
Okay.
It must be from the beginning. We actually, with Paul, he had the working group and the steering committee, and I said, no, that needs to be only by the Eclipse Foundation.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. So it's Road 28 of question.
Exactly. So now we understood this, and this is immediately why I removed the working group while discussing with Paul and a few others in the call. And it took us 1 hour in this thing, right, to work on it. But then 28.
Yep.
We talked.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it really falls into kind of the same category, if you will, Amelia and others. Sorry, look, if we have a branding and compatibility program, the Eclipse Foundation is the legal entity. We are the steward of that program. If we are to maintain, enforce, and defend our trademark, because it is a trademark of the Eclipse Foundation, we can't have another people that are not employees of the Eclipse Foundation to be administrating the brand and compatibility program. In fact, I would say that to think about doing so would put us in jeopardy of being in the correct legal position to then defend our trademark. So the administration of that program in and of itself what has to be with the Eclipse Foundation. And Paul and I, we did discuss this last week, and it really isn't open for further interpretation.
So my question then goes, why is it that the maintenance is not included into administration and branding and compatibility? When I see the 2 lines, and this is bias here, I see more ways we are not against paying for the services that are required. However, I don't understand the duplication. Maintenance is administration. However, we have 2 lines, and it makes it so we understand renewals go every 5 years or 10, depending on the country and continents, correct?
Yep.
But you see, we are doing our best to keep every penny on the budget for the project, for the community.
Sure.
Right?
I see where you're coming from. It is very likely that we need to better describe the line items there and the breakdown there. I can see now where there may be some confusion. This is really something inside of the Eclipse Foundation itself and how our various departments are structured. So you'll see that the line 27 is really our trademarks office, right? Which is really the legal aspect. And then and then line 28 is something that the other group or other part of our organization does in support of our trademark processes. So that's the differentiation of breakdown. But what I can tell you, Amelia, is I think this might become a little clearer when we're able to get the communication out to the working groups about budgeting for next year. We are making some changes to the categories of the line items in the budgets so that it does take away some ambiguity as such as I think some of the questions you might have raised here.
That would be wonderful, because ongoing support means payments, and we are about maintenance and making sure that we enable you in the team to do their work. However, we are not open checks, and if we are paying for something, we need to understand it, and if the simplicity works. Here, it's not clear, and as you can see, we still have the working group member under who will work on it, collaboration. We understood 27 clearly, but immediately I said, let's delete. There is nothing that we can do to block you, right? But it didn't happen with C28, because during that discussion, it was not as clear as now you're saying, hey, we need to clear this up. We will do a better job on this matter. So we look forward to that. Questions for Sharon, Emily, John, Ryan on this? Remember, I cannot see anyone.
Nope, not for me.
I don't have anything.
So Ryan, can you, nothing? Okay, perfect. Do you see, Sharon? You were here on the moment, and we're like, fantastic collaborating. Thanks so much. Right.
You're welcome.
Ryan, can you go back to the minutes? We want to show you this part of this. To the right is Scott Stark. So Emily, we're still talking about memberships and the requirement to use a compatibility logo. And a few of us disagree on it. So finally, we can go back into the discussion because we have tackled a few important items. And this is why the thread now is alive and going back into communication mode. We must continue to use the Red Hat sent this on Friday as soon as that the minutes to enable this call. And Scott said, John, do you want to read this maybe, or do you prefer I read it?
You can go for it. It's up to your person. It's their own tech.
All right. So Scott Stark sent this message on Friday as soon as he got the minutes sent to the forum. Red Hat strongly disagrees with the position. And the position means the requirement to use the compatible logo to be a member of the Eclipse Foundation and the working group of MicroProfile. Then he says, in the same vein, that TCK should not gate access to the patent grants associated with the specifications. Membership in the working group should not gate access to who can provide an implementation. EF cannot fund the associated management of the brand with existing budget, then make the cost explicit. That's exactly what we have chatted a moment ago. Make the existing budget, then make the cost explicit and add a line item to the budget for it. So this is a Scott, this is the Red Hat position. Tommy Tribe agrees with this, and we have agreed on never limiting who can use the logos, who can use the compatibility logo, as we chose implementation patent to lower the bar to enter for using the technology, creating the technology. We believe in the same form that this is applicable to trademarks, correct? So then this conversation will continue to happen. I follow with Stock and I said, we agree clearly. And that is viewed because we voted in implementation with this hand-to-hand on this. Not saying that someone that voted for implementation might not agree with Eclipse Foundation, but that is their voice to use. So now we have this here. We have only tackled during this call, and we can only tackle on this call to make sure that the budget items are very clear and explicit in the future, especially for maintenance and things that will be yearly costs. But in this call, that is not our job to be a decision makers for anyone. We don't throw resolutions from here and nothing like it. Questions about this? Because I'm not speaking on behalf of Scott or Red Hat. I'm just making sure that he's part of the discussion because he sent his feedback that we already knew based on the forum thread.
I can't comment on this today, Amelia.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul will. Yeah, no, thank you. Understood.
You don't have to.
Yeah, like this is the first time I've been in this meeting.
No, you don't have
so,
to.
Yeah, just wanted to put it out there that
No.
yeah, no comment today on this.
No, you're not expected to answer that, especially because of the topic. We are using the forum for those kind of conversations. This is a call focused on trademark right now, and this is where feedback comes in and gets triggered or added into the minutes. That is something that we are aware of, right? Anyone that was in this call or who will listen to this call, but it's not binding on the level that we chose, right? The Eclipse Foundation is always expected to use the mediums that we choose. Right now, we chose the community forum that has over 1,200 users or subscribers. Everyone is reading in there whatever is being said by anyone, right?
Amelia,
Go ahead.
so I didn't see what Scott sent on this mailing list. Is it on a Google Mail or just to you privately?
No, here. Ryan, can you turn to the right? Scott Stark in the minutes.
Oh, he just put this on the mail, not on the Google forum.
Not yet. He sent it.
Okay.
So every single time we have this call.
Yeah, somehow I listened. Somehow I heard you said he sent on a Google
Not yet.
group. No, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Not yet. Only here because he wanted to make sure that it was part of the discussion. But then I followed because that is how we do it, right? He added his minutes. I added them for him, right? He's not able to join. And then I said, hey, we agree as well. Can you please follow up in the thread, copy paste your comments, and just regular things. He just followed protocol. Yeah, so we can expect that message to land in the thread.
Right. So in Jakarta land, when they use logos, are they must be a member of the Jakarta EE working group?
That's correct. That's the Eclipse Foundation's process.
Right. Okay. So basically now is we are asking in MicroProfile whether we can make that non-requirement. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
every working group has created their own trademarks, and usually Jakarta was the first one to bring like a massive trademark with all the work that went down that is currently being used by other working groups. Lots of work was done on that, and it doesn't mean that the Jakarta working group leads on how to do things. We have learned so much from that work completed in 2018 and 19, even today, correct? We still adjusting the websites and making it clearer and navigating based on feedback. But what one group does doesn't need to affect the other group. Even when the members are the same, the products differ a little bit. We're talking about Jakarta that has 18 years of experience on a technology, right? And then we're talking about, for example, MicroProfile. And that MicroProfile was never a private entity like Jakarta EE was and the Oracle, right? In order to get the access to the TCK for the 18 years, many of us had to pay for the access to the TCK and the support by Oracle, from Oracle, right? And now it's open. So we're trying to make sure that many vendors are there and implementing and using and having this diversity of providers, right? And that group is different than what we're doing from a MicroProfile. MicroProfile was born out of no innovation in the Jakarta EE ecosystem for years, right? It was born in June 27th, 2016. And 3 days after we launched the project, Oracle came and said, hey, Jakarta EE, Java EE next release is coming. It did arrive by Java 1 in San Francisco that year. That is the impact. We're talking about the technologies help each other. They don't compete with each other, but how we manage and go over extremely different sides. So we need to be very careful how we see MicroProfile in Jakarta and how we govern it. We have created a messaging by many minute calls for 3 months to make sure that the community understands why there are 2 different working groups. Every single time we decide to say, hey, what I want to do and what Jakarta is doing or what MicroProfile, we withdraw the power for that community to be independent and to be able to utilize the lessons learned by either of the groups. We are open source, we don't compete, and we are independent. So Emily, it's totally great. You think, what do we do there and lessons learned? But we need to be very careful because we defer to what we did with Jakarta was necessary, given the 18-year technology, to MicroProfile, which is like a little lighter weight. And John, I'm not sure if you have anything to say on this. We have 3 minutes to go. But if we talk about technologies and things like that, I want to make sure that everyone has something to say, if you have something to say.
No, nothing to say. And sorry, I had to go answer the door.
I love it. It's Monday, people, Monday. So if we go down, Ryan, I think we're tapped out on that one. This is it. With Sharon's help, we have tackled 27 and 28 that were really important. I've read about Ryan is going to check about SurveyMonkey. Those were the topics we had for today.
I have a question actually, Amelia, and I just I don't want to go, like we only have 2 minutes left. Has anyone given any thought to putting some dates on the spreadsheet in terms of, ETAs on when we believe all the line items are going, because this is a program we're putting together, right?
Sharon,
so yeah.
We actually a month ago on the community call, the trigger was for Paul to add a column after the Git issue saying due dates. And
okay.
either he does it or I did. I was going to do it, but I think he owned it. And we have not done it. As soon as that is done, I think we can add dates. We need soft deadlines. We said that we would end maybe Q3, but that is not possible because SurveyMonkey is taking a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And we will have to end it because we said 2021. We want to make sure this year we do all this hard work so the next year is fun. So definitely, if you don't do it, I will do it today and just make sure we have dates. But I'm not going to choose the dates just yet.
No.
Yeah.
But start the conversation, right? At least one of the meetings can be put, to use a big chunk of the meeting to actually agree on the dates that we're all pushing for. Because otherwise, right, we all know we need dates.
Yes. We do need dates, and the next call is going to be not next week, but after next week. And the calls, these kind of calls are strategic. We don't have them if we don't need to. It depends what kind of conversations we're having in the forums. And if we need to discuss something, then we go in here and have them. But most often these calls are canceled with a minute saying no need because we have these threads happening, join here. But I think the next call will need to happen because by then, hopefully we already have set up the SurveyMonkey, and then we will have some dates to say, hey, we can vote, we will vote for this for 2 weeks or 1 week, and we have so much discussion to do on it. So yes, we did that 1 month ago, we just didn't add the role.
Got it.
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, let's get that done. Okay, perfect.
Yes, you can add it, Sharon, if you want to, you say, hey, I already own it. Immediately to the right
I'll
of
do
the, immediately to the right of the Git issue, due dates,
Git
whatever
issue?
you want.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Shonda, you were here and you never said a word. Do you want to introduce yourself and say hello before we go?
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to say hi to the team. I know a lot of working groups are sort of planning, they're wrapping up their year and looking at their budget, what they have left to spend towards marketing initiatives. So I just wanted to let you guys know if you have any initiatives you're ready to go on or want to talk about, the best way to reach out to my team is to email us marketing@eclipse.org. I can drop that in the minutes. And then just as you guys are coming together and are ready to engage with our team, let us know.
Sounds wonderful. If you can add it here immediately after with a new bullet and say, hey, introduce myself, just do your retrospective immediately here. We will we do not use private emails. And when we have a request, we use Git tickets with the marketing, with the working group forum is our preference. We avoid privacy at all costs, especially when working with each other or with the Eclipse Foundation. We want traceability. So even though you can add the email, which is great, we will likely not be using it because the project itself will start working on the new program plan the first week of October. That is what we have it dated for 2022. As soon as the entire community chooses the program plan for 2022, then we immediately create slides. And then based on that program that was created by the entire community, we will match the budget.
Okay.
So
I can I'll also drop in my GitHub username if there's ever anything to tag the marketing team, then you can tag me and I'll help include our team. Okay.
That is excellent. Thank you so much, Shonda.
All right. Okay, thanks.
All right. So everyone, I will write the minutes like I always do and send this to the 2 forums. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Anything else before we go?
I'm wondering, like how for what Sharon said about ETA, I'm wondering maybe it's better to track on the spreadsheet by adding one more column there, ETA. So it's just easier to track instead of doing all the kind of GitHub issue and quite difficult to manage.
Yeah, we have agreed on this over a month. It's just that summer, vacations, but now Sharon is like, she's going to own it, like just add the column, or I can do it. If she doesn't do it in the next today, I will add it tomorrow. That's it. Move forward.
We'll get it done, Amelia. We can do this. We can do this.
Exactly. Let's do this.
Right. I have to fly. I'm late for another meeting. Thanks, everybody. Great.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Hello from
Right.
Minnesota.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.